Nachdem wir es noch 500 Mal probiert haben, gefühlt. Also wir mussten die Wachen töten, um den Schlüssel zu kriegen. Somit konnten wir auch jetzt das Tor öffnen und haben auch endlich den Bezirk erreicht. Jetzt machen wir noch einen Part, der ungefähr 15 Minuten geht. Und dann langt das für heute. Genug Nerven aufgerieben. Und wortwörtlich zerstört gefühlt. Der arme Nerven, ne? Bist du tot oder lebst noch? Oh. Ich glaube, da schießt jemand eine Menge Leute. Zumindest so wie es anhört. Also ich würde mir gerne einen Unterschlupf. Ich glaube, ich hier aber gar keinen.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir.
Uh-huh.
I'm interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic.
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith
Nee,
again.
irgendwie laufe ich falsch. Warte mal. Hier.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Stalking!
I cannot enter.
Finden Sie einen Hinweis darauf, dass Letsplay Tours im Schilde führt. Aber es scheint sehr angeschlagen. Bronchitis. Aha. Der gute Herr hat also Bronchitis. Aha. Das sind aber nette Reize, die er hat. Aber so komme ich nicht an ihn ran. Das heißt... Mal abgesehen davon, dass sie die ganzen... Leichen noch begrapschen? Wollte ich eigentlich gar nicht. Ach, wollte ich doch gar nicht. Lass die am Ratten in Ruhe, Mann. Also sie ist gesund.
Strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Journalist.
Darby, is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
It's locked, all right. I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius.
Finde den
Nearby the church
Whitechapel.
they just mentioned. There's no one in.
Keiner da, würde ich jetzt eine Lüge sagen, aber... Was ist ein... Oha! Ihr seid viel zu stark für mich. In dem Bezirk. Ah, ne. Oh. Wie geht der noch? Hey, hey, hey. Ich muss erstmal hier rumgucken. Das Blöde ist, hast du einmal nicht anvisiert, bist du echt. Aber kann mir jemand erklären, warum hier so viele von diesen Scars. Von diesen... Kein Blut. Große Piste los. Wenn er das hilft. Richard. Äh. 45. Axt, okay. Ach, noch so ein Vieh oder was?
Not exactly a treasure chest.
Aha.
A box, some knickknacks, and a letter.
Aber Ist halt jetzt die Frage, ist es nur Blut oder ist es Blut von jemandem bestimmten? Aber 60 Meter sind halt noch echt weit entfernt gefühlt. Da kann ich gerne raus. Ich meine, die sind ja das kleinste Problem. Ich finde Carlton in dem Bereich.
Excuse me, sir. Are you
Carlton.
familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry,
Nee.
I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Hinweis, keine Zeitbericht.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Aha.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
Ja.
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Entschwissen.
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know
Darius.
much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott,
Richard.
who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Mhm.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Ich glaube, das ist der.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Okay, danke, dass du. Danke.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But
Yeah.
let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Okay.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're
Nee,
mad
nee, nee.
and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher.
Genau, lass mal gut
A
sein.
small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Enough.
Vicar Araby of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Es steht. Okay.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Dorothy.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Oha.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Okay, das ist mir hier viel zu viel
I have had
Gefahr
enough
gerade.
for tonight.
Aber echt. Aber echt. Finde den Nickel. Finde Richard Nickel. Right.
The wars of men should not be your main concern.
Nickel. Oh nein. Boah. Warum so viele? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Nee, okay, es langt für heute. Langt. Okay, aber ich wünsche euch auf jeden Fall Verzweiflung kriegt gerade so hart, ne? Aber ich hoffe, euch gefällt das Let's Play trotz allem schwierigen Passagen, die wir gerade erleben dürfen, beziehungsweise die ihr mit mir erlebt. Und so wie ich das jetzt richtig verstanden habe, sollen wir im nächsten, also wir gehen im nächsten Part hinter die Kirche. Nein, auf jeden Fall hin. Aber damit würde ich sagen, beenden wir den Part. Lasst uns wieder ein Like, ein Abo oder ein Kommentar. Bis zum nächsten Mal bei Vampyr.